Welcome to In Line. My name's Ben.
I'm Roxana.
And we own VT Family Law. I think it's simple. She married a Laker, he married a taker. And this is what happened. You want California money at Slovenia prices.
Listen to me, because you might agree, I don't know. In California, if you're a high income earner, there's a reasonable needs analysis.
And I think, the lesson of the story is even a $164 million Laker player has the same problem as anyone sitting in LA. Figure out who you're going to have children with. It's never okay to act the way she acted in that video.
I feel myself being automatically defensive of the woman, even though she's videotaped as the obvious aggressor.
Welcome to In Line. My name's Ben.
I'm Roxana.
And we own VT Family Law. And today we're going to talk about
the Slovenian family.
Luka from the Lakers. Let's just call it that. And what's going on. What do you think about it?
Well, I think it's complicated because, it's international jurisdiction. There's potential kidnapping involved. From what I understand, I don't know everything about it. The mom has filed for child support in the state of California, but while living in Slovenia. And then dad is contesting that based on jurisdictional issues. I don't know all of the details, but I do have some opinions about it. What do you think?
I think it's simple. She married a Laker, he married a taker. And this is what happened. She decided she's going to go to Slovenia, but she still wants California money. And unfortunately, many times women, because they birth the children, they think they own the children. And they don't. There's two parents. And I get that it's important for children to be with their moms, and it's important for young children to be with their moms. But fathers also have rights. And if he is making the money and he's in California working, he should have some right to see his child during the season. And I think that's the biggest part of what happened. He wanted to see his child during the Lakers season when she was in Slovenia, and she refused to come. So he filed a petition in Slovenia for custody, and she in turn then filed while in Slovenia for child support in California. So that's kind of wanting your cake and eat it too. You want California money at Slovenia prices.
And so, of course, I would agree, because we're making assumptions, because
right.
We don't know a lot about the case. Right. But my assumption, which this is what we do, is that mom and dad lived here and benefited from California life and Lakers salary. And then something happened that hasn't really been disclosed, because it seems like there was something that involved police in Slovenia, but we don't know who might have been the alleged aggressor, or maybe it was both. But the bottom line is there was no crime found. Nobody was guilty of any kind of crime. But for some reason, mom is living in Slovenia and dad filed the petition in Slovenia, represented by one of our greatest colleagues, Laura Wasser, who filed the petition maybe on his behalf, or maybe she came in later. I don't know yet. But he's also trying to benefit from not paying as much money in Slovenia, right? So she's taking the kids and he wants to take his money.
Well, I think he filed in Slovenia because that's where his children live.
And that's where he says he lives.
They are all citizens of Slovenia. So I think what makes sense is you file for custody, or you file for your case to be resolved where you live and where your kids live, and not choose to leave California and then file for only child support in California.
Even though
that doesn't make sense. That smells fishy to me.
Even though he claims he's a resident of Slovenia, a citizen of Slovenia, has not attempted to become a citizen of the United States at all, but he lives here 7 to 9 months out of the year, which is, exceeds the residency requirements for Los Angeles and California.
It does exceed the requirements, but he's a sports figure, and they are treated differently because they are working around the world, around the country, and his children certainly live in Slovenia. So why didn't she ask the Slovenian court for child support?
I get why, don't you?
Yeah, I do too.
But the only
cha-ching.
Is it a distinction without a difference? Because
it's a huge difference.
Listen to me, because you might agree. I don't know. In California, if you're a high income earner, there's a reasonable needs analysis. And he is definitely a high income earner.
Right.
Right. Based on what we know of his most recent contract renewal.
Right.
And so based thereon, if you're assessing reasonable needs in Slovenia, it's going to be a lot different than your reasonable needs in Los Angeles. So she would probably live in a nicer house here than she would there under California law, if she's living off of child support.
Could be.
Yeah.
That could be. It's just interesting that the only thing she chose to bring to California was that. And I think the judge may see what's going on. Obviously, we'll figure it out once this gets before a judge. Laura's smart. She knows what she's doing, and I'm sure she's filed to move the case to Slovenia.
Right, for a good reason.
And she's the one that's saying, and so is her client, Luca, that everything should be dealt with in Slovenia because that's where the kids are, and that's where both of them live, and they are citizens of Slovenia. And that makes sense to me.
This is where I think we do agree. I think the goal is to reach, I think mom probably wants to live in LA near the dad, but she knows like the greatest leverage is withholding the children. This is speculation, and it could be derogatory because I don't know her or her intentions, of course, but she isn't married. She's like a baby mama. So she's thinking, what is my best chance? And he's thinking, how can I like save myself the most? And both of them love their children, I'm sure, to the best extent possible. And they just want to figure out like how can they each succeed financially and be good parents. And right now it's not going well because they're like polarized in the way they're handling it, but hopefully they'll meet in the middle. I think that is what will happen, but you have to like be aggressive.
And I think, the lesson of the story is even a $164 million Laker player has the same problem as anyone sitting in LA. Figure out who you're going to have children with.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Make sure you have an agreement before you procreate with somebody, because this is what happens whether you have a $164 million contract or a $6 million or a $6 contract.
Agreed.
The issues are the same, and your children are your children. And unfortunately, people aren't always making the best decisions.
Right. And like this is no judgment against having kids out of marriage at all, but there is a reason for the institution of marriage. It's not what I'm promoting, but I do think there is an intention behind it, which is to create a legal and legally binding family unit that enforces and imposes restrictions on people, makes you think twice. And so instead, like really young people and across international borders are just like having kids and then becoming fiancés. And this is what can happen. And it could have been worse if they were married. So right. I'm not trying to say I'm promoting marriage out of this. I'm just saying like you need to think about what you're doing like a chess player before you have a kid.
And I agree. I think when you're married, there's at least a level of commitment there, or at least intent to have a commitment that would help at least resolve some of the preliminary issues when having children.
Right, because it's hard to get divorced.
Correct, but very easy to get married and even easier to have a kid.
Right.
So now we're going to turn to Taylor from The Bachelorette and all of that craziness. And, domestic violence has so many layers, as I know, Roxana.
As a victim.
It's hard to judge it, even though it's never okay to act the way she acted in that video. There's multi-layers to all of this, and there's people that evidence gather, and I want you to talk a little bit about that, especially from the female perspective. When it appears like there's an unhinged female, it's easy to say she must be jealous, she must be crazy, dysregulated. And then you have this calm male saying, please stop. And sometimes that in and of itself is triggering, isn't it? Just somebody gaslighting you. So I want to get your perspective.
Well, yeah, thank you. I think the details of the premise you just gave like indicate to me you kind of like, people do that. But I also think as a man, and as a lawyer that's been litigating for so long, representing men and women, that men can often be like profiled just because they're men, and women can be like, and feign injury or feign abuse and the
Absolutely.
police are like lenient with men or lenient with the men, right? And women feel like they have to embellish. And so whatever, the society has changed, times are changing. And I think now women, instead of embellishing in front of cops and stuff like that, are making claims in court. Sometimes they're very valid and sometimes they're embellished and vice versa. It just depends on what the circumstances are. But in this situation, I feel myself being automatically defensive of the woman, even though she's videotaped as the obvious aggressor. But then I have to question myself as a lawyer, like, why are you feeling defensive of the woman? And I have to analyze the evidence. And so I try to like talk myself off the ledge of whatever I've been programmed with when I'm litigating, because you have to be objective.
That makes sense. And one of the things that we've talked about in our practice and with clients is, people that evidence gather and they gaslight and they then seek to create situations off camera or away from the cell phone that ignite or trigger their significant other, whom they know, obviously, what their triggers are. And then when they react to what you've done, then they hit the record button. And women and men do this. And judges are getting smart to this. And we just had a case where the judge really reamed the husband for evidence gathering. Instead of getting out of the situation, he's sitting there recording, gathering evidence for years that then he used against his wife. And it happens with men or women. The problem that I have, and the biggest issue in viewing this video is the video that was presented, is that you have your child there. And it doesn't matter. You don't get to be triggered when you have a child. You don't get to have the luxury of allowing someone to trigger you to the extent that you're throwing a bar stool at somebody, whether or not you're justified, when your kid is like 2 feet away from you. And that is the death nail for custody.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, there's no working around you not protecting your child in that instance and putting whatever is in your mind or in your emotional instability above your child's well-being.
I completely agree. The difference in this case, as I understand it, is the man in the video is not the biological father or the father of any kind of the child that was subjected to the harm. That doesn't mean he's cool, because any human being, in my opinion, should protect a child. And he just videoed. But my question was like, what was his incentive in videotaping other than possibly to prevent the harm? Like meaning like to deter the continued conduct or something. It seemed, my instinct is, this isn't evidence, it's just my instinct. He was trying to she's obviously like a semi-public figure. And he was trying to get some kind of clickbait, because a normal human being, based on my experience, would grab a kid and call the police. If somebody's throwing objects like right in front of the face of a kid, that's what I think a normal human being would do. I don't think he's punishable by law. He's not a good Samaritan. He's not the father of the child. So whatever his incentive was, the bottom line is she's wrong. She should probably lose custody, at least temporarily, and have to earn her way back.
And she did, I think.
And I don't know what the result was, but people don't throw stools normally. Like, if that's where you go when you're angry, especially in front of a minor child, something needs to be corrected.
And I appreciate that. I have a little bit of a different read on it, because I think, well, number one, she has the duty to protect that child, not him. It's her child. But yes, I think everyone has a duty to protect a child. And I think that that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to tell her, your daughter's right here. Stop acting in this way. But I also think that sometimes people are recording these incidences because the people that are acting this crazy don't remember it the next day. And sometimes they are trying to record it so that they can show this person, this is how you act. And this is the behavior that needs to get regulated. And from what I understand, neither of them called the police. someone else called the police. So I don't know that this was essentially that. It might have been more of a fight that got out of control. He was trying to record her, maybe to show her what she was doing, maybe not. And my understanding is when the police got there and they went to arrest her, he was asking them to arrest him because he didn't want her to get arrested and lose her child. So I don't know. Nobody knows but them. That's the problem with these kinds of cases. Nobody knows the truth. But when you in the age of cell phones, cameras, Ring cameras, everyone's watching all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone is watching.
And intention is really irrelevant legally.
Absolutely.
Most of the time, not all the time. But in this case, it seems irrelevant because he's not the dad. And he was recording it. It could have been, it's all speculation why he was doing it. And then, because what I would say, just opinion wise, if he was asking to be arrested, like, why were you recording it? Maybe that lends to your argument. Maybe it lends to mine, is like, why are you, it seems like public image focused to me, but it could also be that's just my perspective. It could also be because he was honestly just trying to prevent her from engaging in the conduct.
Yeah. I mean, there's
but it doesn't
sides,
really matter.
Probably
the
three
bottom
sides to
line is
everything.
she was violent in front of her own child and could have injured her child, and that has consequence. And
Yeah.
it should have. It should have consequences.
It should have, and it did. And I think we can all agree, no matter what happened, if after seeing this, if she gives you a rose, do not accept it.
Do not accept.
So, did you hear about that guy that that married some woman that had 100 sexual partners, but she apparently
Good for her.
rejuvenated her virginity and now is, some kind of virtuous wife with 3 kids and is so great with prayer books?
He forgave her.
I mean, how crazy is that?
He not only forgave her, he forgave himself.
I mean, I guess. Is
What
she
else do you need?
She like a Chevrolet, the odometer starts again?
I
and
just
you're all
watched
right with
this
that?
movie. I told you about it. The gaslighty one. It was horrible. It was like Lifetime.
Yeah.
My husband gaslighted me or something like that.
Yeah.
Which it was like kind of sophomoric, but my instinct is it's a little bit gaslighty, because if you're trying to be forgiven of a sin and you love your family and your virginal wife, why are you like putting it on social media? Wouldn't you just protect her virginity privately?
What virginity? She hasn't been a virgin since 1981.
No, the fake
What
virgin.
are you talking about?
The one he has convinced himself that she has. I'd protect it. I would be like, shh. And then act like a
love all these
virgin, wear a white dress.
holier than thou, I found Christ. What about if you never lost him? How about that? How about...
But I agree with that, but she should stick up for herself. But why is he like...
No, she's got prayer books,
Scarlet
apparently.
lettering her.
How about
and
that?
now all
What's
the
that
kids,
about?
all 3 kids that are also angelic are going to have access to this.
And I'm not making a judgment.
And the classmates.
But it seems like she's also judging now other women because she's now the new virgin.
She didn't say shit.
No, but it seems like her take on this now is, oh, I decided now I'm going to close up shop and just, go with one guy and have 3 kids, and now I'm going to keep a prayer journal about my former sin.
That's what he said.
No, well, you don't think he told her that?
Well, I just think my instinct, which is always on point, which is not true, is why is he doing, like what I always say, like, why is somebody doing something? So what is his incentive? I don't know, but I don't know that she has said anything. What is he retaliating against? Is this punitive? Is it gaslighting? Like, what is he going to gain out of it? That's what I'm thinking, and I don't know the answers. That's what I'd be investigating before I commented further, because we don't know. I think it's weird to act like you're protecting somebody and making them a saint, but in the same time, kind of being derogatory about your wife and your children makes me feel suspect.
Yeah, I think it's all kind of Judgy McJudgerson to me.
Agreed.
And own it. Own who you were. You don't have to ask for forgiveness. You do what you want to do. That's why we have free will. And if you found somebody that you want to be with, great. And there's no need to talk about the 100 other men you slept with or for either of them. I don't even know why this was brought up. I personally would be embarrassed if I were her husband.
And the other thing is maybe, because we don't know.
And he only kissed her on their day of marriage,
They
apparently.
barely even kiss. Maybe
she wasn't
there was
even that into
social
him.
media stuff or like publicity that was negative against her, and whatever we heard was reactive or defensive and trying to protect his family. I don't know that.
I want to know how big his wallet was, maybe. Maybe it was bigger than something
Hopefully
else.
enough for her to stay after he just revealed
Yeah,
her.
well, I think they're still together.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll have to find out, audience.
But maybe, hopefully they got a prenup. Because somehow, I don't know if this is going to last.
There might be nothing to protect.
Maybe.
At all. Because if you're protecting virginity in today's society, what are you really trying to protect?
I think virginity left a long time
poverty.
ago.
They're protecting poverty.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Thin Line. I'm Ben, and this is my law partner and partner in crime, Roxana. Till the next time.